Hello everybody. I'm gonna talk about our next project, and this is gonna be abstract shapes. I'm gonna post this on Google Classroom, this handout, and then you're gonna learn your new vocabulary, and you're gonna learn a lot of new things. You're gonna be able to use the oil pastels. You're gonna be able to use ink and ink pen, and you're gonna get handout about elements of shape, and then we're gonna create project, and then this is another small project we're gonna do about textures. So you did this before. So I'm gonna just do a little demonstration right now. I'm gonna use Prismacolor pencils to outline my shapes. You're gonna learn about 3 types of shapes. So I'm gonna draw like 3 shapes in here, just to show you. Okay, so I'm gonna draw one circle, let's say. Use Prismacolor pencils or any other pencil is good, but don't use the number 2 pencil, okay, because it's doesn't work well with oil pastels. Okay, so I'm gonna draw overlapping shapes right here, few overlapping shapes. Let's say I'm gonna make a rectangle out of this. I'm gonna just do like this. And I'm gonna do more small circles, so I could use a bottle, like anything. Could use anything, or I'm gonna use this rectangle right here, the small one, and these are geometrical shapes. Let's say I'm gonna use amorphous shapes. You will learn about that, which is any shape to be an amorphous. An organic shape would be like a leaf. Like, let's say I'm gonna add some shape of the leaf here. And then I'm gonna use oil pastels to color all these shapes. And then as you notice, we have more shapes, like a lot of shapes are created by intersecting all these shapes I used. So I'm gonna outline my shape, and I'm gonna color each of the shapes in different color. And then as it says on the handout, you have to use at least 10 colors. Choose at least 10 colors that range in value from very dark to white. So you can do few of the shapes like that. Okay, so let's say this is the darkest orange I'm using here, and then I'm gonna just blend in lightly at the edge, and I'm gonna use maybe yellow on this part. So that's gonna be lighter part of my orange. And I'm gonna use blending sticks. You're gonna use blending sticks, or you can use paper towels. It works really well with oil pastels or any other pastels. But at this moment we're not doing any other projects. We can use soft pastels later, but right now we're using oil pastels. Okay, so I blended in one shape. What color is opposite on the color wheel to the orange? Like this blue or even purple. So I'm gonna just add next to it complementary color, because complementary colors next to each other looks really nice. So and once again I'm gonna use a little bit of lighter color. I could use white, but you guys choose any colors you like. Okay, so I'm gonna use this part of my shape light, and then I could use darker on this side. In the other words, I'm creating values on my shapes. Okay, so and I'm gonna blend in with a blending stick. And then let's say next to the orange, I'm gonna use maybe purple on the other side. I'm gonna use purple. And if you like, you can use just solid colors. Just use few shapes with a gradual transition from dark to light. And the other shapes you can color any way you like. Okay, so and every time you blend in with a blending stick or paper towel. So as soon as you finish all these shapes, and then use different colors, none of the shapes next to each other has the same color, okay? Choose different colors. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna use green right here. I'm gonna use green. And then you blend again. And then when you finish all your shapes, you're gonna get this handout. Although you already did something like this, you used, we did another project when we used all the textures in here. So, but the new thing is this ink pen. So we're gonna start practicing to draw textures with ink. So you're gonna use this tray, add a little bit of ink, and then you're gonna start practicing to draw your textures with ink. Okay, guys, so you have to be really careful before you start doing these textures on your project. Okay, so this is how it works. Every time you dip here, and make sure it's not too much of ink on the other side, because it might drip like this. Like you might just damage your work like this. So just make sure it's not too much on the other side, and then you can use any texture you want on your project. Okay, so that's the second step. Okay, you're gonna practice to do that. So I'm gonna do this on my project. Okay, so you just outline nicely your shapes. Remember, the craftsmanship is really important. Creativity, time and effort. And yeah, so you wanna get an A, you have to be on time. So I'm gonna choose, let's say, a little circles on this purple shape. So you don't have to add texture to all of your shapes. Just use at least 3 shapes with textures, but make sure you're outlining all your shapes, okay, with ink after you finish. This way it looks nicer. And then remember, when these shapes intersect, they create new interesting shapes. And then you just be creative on this part. Use any textures you want, textures or patterns. Okay, so here's the project I did yesterday, and it's almost done. So I'm gonna post this on a board. So I I added as many textures as I could, and then some areas still unfinished. So I'm gonna continue working, and I'm gonna add textures on the other areas. And I hope you're gonna like this project, guys. We're gonna start this project next week. And thank you so much. I hope you like this project.